I respect what you said. But remember that these men have lands and castles. It's much to risk.
And the common man that bleeds on the battlefield, does he risk less?
Richard Vegan Gaines. What can I say about Richard? I still think, from a year ago, he might be the person that I admire most on the entire vegan YouTube scene. And that's for a number of reasons. I remember I started watching vegan YouTube when I discovered his channel. And it was a weird time for me. I was active, very, very active in fitness. I've been following a bunch of fitness YouTubers for a really long time. I think I watched a lot of Jeff Side videos, a lot of Bro Science videos, bunch others I can't even remember now. It's so long ago. I feel like I can't even remember if it's a year or 2 years ago. It's this weird like time lapse I'm having right now. But I remember I was watching a lot of fitness YouTubers. I was really into that lifestyle. I was studying for school. And it was around that time that I started to have some thoughts about what role fitness would play in my life. I felt like I was so injured at the time, using the classic kind of bodybuilding splits and workouts and stuff like that. And I was kind of deciding on what I wanted to do, what role fitness would play in my life, whether I needed to change my workout or whether I just wanted to give it up. I don't remember which video it was that I first saw from the Vegan Gains channel. I think it might have been the Kayla Itzine's video. It might have been the Jeff Side video. I think it probably was the Mike Chang video. But I remember initially, Mike Chang was someone that I questioned at the time as well for a lot of the obvious reasons, mostly because of his ads and stuff like that. I think a lot of people found those annoying. But I can't remember who it was, but there were certain people that he was criticizing that I was actually big fans of. And at the beginning, I really didn't like him. I thought he was detestable. I thought he was going against everything that I believed in. But the more I watched his videos, the more certain characteristics about his message and what he did that really hit home for me, that I really respected about him. I think I really became a fan of Vegan Gains after the Vince Del Monte litigation thing, where Vince basically was sending Richard emails apparently saying that he was going to sue him if he didn't take the Vince Del Monte Worst of the Fitness Industry videos down. And for me personally, that would scare me shitless. I probably would have taken that video down in a heartbeat. I wouldn't have even a second thought. I would be too scared of losing my YouTube channel. I would have been scared of having all the hard work that I'd done up to that point go down the drain. But Richard called his bluff. Richard said, "Go pound sand. I'm not taking it down. Live with it. You're not going to scare me." And he made a video about it. And that was really ballsy, I felt. And that's when I really started to respect him, where I really started to listen to what he was saying. And I credit him for my decision to go vegan. I think in a real way at that time, I was looking for another reason to be involved with fitness and to challenge myself in fitness. And I thought that was something worthwhile. The challenge of trying to be strong when you don't eat meat anymore. I think that's interesting. Because a lot of times I think in our culture we associate the consumption of meat-based protein with strength. And I think a vegan diet shakes a stick at that. Kind of tears that down a little bit in some ways that I think is interesting, that I think is sexy. So, I became vegan because of the Vegan Gains channel. And in a lot of ways, when I started a YouTube channel, who I wanted to be as a YouTuber was because of him, because of my image of him. This uncompromising, complete understanding, complete commitment to his message. That was the impression that I got from him. That was everything that I wanted to be, everything that I wanted to emulate. I knew I didn't have it in me to do the style of videos that Richard did. But I wanted to be that kind of presence, someone who had his ideas and stood for them, regardless of what came at him. There's a quote from a Japanese emperor that no matter how much the wind blows, the mountain does not falter, the mountain does not move. And that's how I felt about Vegan Gains. He was a mountain. And I wanted to be a mountain too. That's who I wanted to be as a YouTube creator.
Now tell me, what does that mean to be noble? Your title gives you claim to the throne of our country. But men don't follow titles. They follow courage.
But fast forward a year later, Richard, and I gotta admit, I'm starting to be a little bit disappointed. Recently I saw a video of you on your girlfriend's channel sitting there bashing Charles Marlowe, the vegan cheetah, when he's talking with Angie from Happy Healthy Vegan. And honestly, you can sit there and criticize Charles's message, but Charles is willing to sit there on camera right now and say, this is what I stand for, this is what I believe, this is what I have to say. And maybe you give, to quote Isla Lazard, maybe you give that video a 5, maybe you give it a 3, maybe you give it a 4. But what do you honestly give your video of you sitting there and throwing shade at Charles, doing nothing but insulting him, calling him retarded, calling him a fake vegan? What do you give that, Richard? It's a 0. I mean, I understand why you wouldn't put that video on your channel, because you don't respect Charles, obviously. You don't want to give him the shout out. You know that you have a lot more followers on your YouTube channel who would see that video. But a year ago, I would have felt like you were someone who would say, screw all that. I think this guy's wrong, and I'm going to say it on my channel. You wouldn't have gone to someone else's smaller audience and said it just because you wanted to say it, without giving them subs, without giving them exposure. You wouldn't have cared, I felt like. But now I feel, are you so deep in the YouTube game that you've compromised that? That's my honest feeling about it. As someone who really looked up to you before. I used to think, when I first started watching you, I'm 29 now, I was maybe 27, 28 at the time. You were maybe, 22, 23, 24? So you're 4 years younger than me, easy. But honestly, I felt like you were 10 feet tall, Richard, at that time when you were making those videos, when you were really stirring the pot. And now I feel like you're shorter than I am. Now I feel like I should be patting you on the head and saying, nice try. I know you got all these things going on, bud. I know you got, you're dealing with a wife now. You've had to move around a lot. Things are a lot different from you. I know I've seen in videos that you're struggling with your health and things like that. But, man, is this who you want to be, Richard? You want to be the guy who goes on someone else's channel and has nothing more to say but you're a retard. If you wanted to actually have a discussion, if you actually wanted to have a debate with Charles, I bet he would have done that with you. But what is going on, man? I don't know where it started, but for me personally, I feel like it started with the whole Durian Rider thing over the summer. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of things were said. Bad stuff happened. Stuff that people had a right to make videos about. Something that people had a right to discuss about. That was worth discussing. That was important to discuss. I honestly thought that you were going to be the guy to come on camera and say, listen, Durian Rider's my friend. He's been by my side. He's stuck up for me. He's been with me from the beginning. I'm not going to throw shade at him. I'm with him. And if you have a problem with it, go pound sand. That's honestly what I thought you were going to say. I would have respected you if that was your opinion. Because that's who I thought you were. That's who I want you to be. And I know at this time, you got a lot to lose. You have a real following now. You're making real money on your stuff. But it disappointed me that you lost that edge.
We all end up dead. It's just a question of how.
Honestly, now I see some of the videos you're making, and I can understand you've been doing the worst of the fitness industry for a long time. It gets stale. It gets boring. And when it's stale and it's boring, it's hard to get in front of the camera. People think of it as a simple thing, but there's a mental thing that goes into it. It's hard to get in front of the camera and talk about something and do something, put all the work into something when you're honestly not having it anymore. But the pronouns video bothered me more than any others, because I know that's hot right now. I know a lot of people are talking about that, but it's so easy to talk about. saying that, I'm honestly going to be making videos on that topic. I hope that I can put something in there that's meaningful to me, that's real for me. There's something important that I feel like I have to say about it, but I think generally overall, the points made in those kind of videos, the anti-SGW videos, are so easy to make. There's almost no thought that has to go into those videos. And I think right now, there's nothing coming from it in any real way. There's nothing meaningful coming from any of that content. Nothing is happening, nothing is moving forward or being progressed because of it. It's one big circle jerk where everyone's making all sorts of money and nothing is actually happening. Nothing real and meaningful is being put out there in that area. And it bothers me that you've dipped into that a little bit in the way that that video is. I don't want Vegan Gains to be a anti-social justice warrior person. I don't want him to be that. No, I want Vegan Gains. I want Vegan Gains to be a meaningful member of this whole vegan YouTube. I want him to be a meaningful voice. I want him to be a strong voice. And this is not an example of that, Richard, in my opinion, for the standards that I hold you to, for what you've shown me in the past. This is not that. And again, I know a lot of stuff's going on right now, but I expect you, I want you to be better than this. I know you can be better than this. So take that for what it's worth. You can call this, whoever watches, I don't even know if Richard will even see this video. I'm tiny compared to him. But if anyone watches this, you can think of this as a troll video, just a hater video. But if I had to summarize everything, about a year or 2 years ago, Richard, I felt that Vegan Gains was 10 feet tall. He was someone I would follow. And now I feel like he's a fraction of that. What happened, man? What happened? I mean, if I had to ask you anything, if you were sitting right in front of me here, Richard, and I had to ask you something, what I would say to you, I would say, are you proud of that video, that salad goat video on your girlfriend's channel? Are you proud of that? Are you really honestly proud of that, man? And if you are, then I don't know.
Now, our people know you. Noble and common, they respect you. And if you would just lead them to freedom, they'd follow you. And so would I.